Well, a few of the players are having their reservations on this football season. They're demanding that the NFL provide safer guidelines as it relates to this virus. And trust me, there are some unique situations with this. How do you equally have this amongst everybody? Everybody don't have the same unique situation as it relates to family. There are people with little ones. There are people with older people that they got to look after. And there's so many nuances with that, especially why this particular virus is such that it can be asymptomatic and you can spread this thing. So some of the players are saying that, hey, if the NFL is not going to do right by us, then we are not going to be able to play. That's the bottom line. Now, the opt-out clause is good in a sense because really you're saying to yourself, okay, if I need to take care of my family, then I do not want a risk of losing my contract, losing my money. And it pretty much paint a picture for the bigger picture, the opt-out clause. Now, if, and I'm saying this with a big old if this season happens, what happened if, and I'm using this word casually, and I'm trying to preface it. What happened if you're on this roll and all of a sudden you come down with this COVID? Will, the NFL offer some type of remuneration for that, or will they offer some type of certain circumstances to allow you to play if that happened, or allow you to pick up more people on your roster? It's so many moving parts with this. And the NFL is different from any other sport. I think the NFL is the largest, basically. We are the largest, and I think we play the less games. Largest as it relates to the players. And we do know how this thing spread like wildfire, right? It's an airborne situation, so you can have it and you can spread it to your neighbor and partner if they're closer than 6 feet away, right? NFL requires you to hit people, hit folks. Now, whether or not this particular virus is a hoax, and we do know how it is when it's political season or election season, basically, and we do know how those things spread. But who is going to take that risk? Who is going to sit out there and say, well, you know what, Law? I heard that this was all a hoax, man, and I'm not even going to worry about it. I'm not going to try to do this. I'm not going to try to do that. And we do know that they spend over, $5 or $6 billion or something like that to find a vaccine or to get a company to represent the vaccination. It's a lot of cheddar. So I don't know what is going to happen. Normally people say, hey, just follow the money. That's normally what people say. When we look at certain pockets of the globe or what have you, you see that some parts or some sections is not even having this mask of outbreak. A lot of people are not coming down with it. But in some sectors, we see a lot of people are dying from it and a lot of people are coming down with it. So I don't know. I wish I had the answers for everybody. I wish I could say, yes, it's just 5G. And when they installing the towers there, when they installing the signal in those particular areas, that's why you see that there's a spike, So it could be those situations, but I'm not going to be conspiracy law, right? I don't want people to say, hey, that little piece of wire in your mask, that's a 5G antenna. And they know where you at when you got a cell phone in your pocket. And under certain apps and stuff like that, they got rights to have GPS tracking location signal on you, and they can pinpoint exactly where you at. And I don't see nobody throwing away their cell phones, right? So it's always something, the conspiracy side of it, the reality side of it, and trust me, the expectations of getting all this stuff done side of it, it's so many things that we don't know, and I'm trying to be cautious and talking about it because I know people who passed away from it, and I know people who had loved ones who passed away from it. I'm talking about the virus. Just as well as drunk driving, just as well as, of course, driving too fast, just as well as drinking too much and beyond. People die. That's just the nature of life, just like the circle of life, basically. People are born, people are dying. That's just how it goes. But when we look at it from the confines of football, How can we tell these millionaires to adhere and listen to these billionaires out there? Because some of these millionaires that's playing this game, or thousandaires, however you want to call them, is looking at their owner saying, hey, you're not out there on the field. We are. And we got to go back home to our loved ones. What's more important? Will this season be all of that? Or will they just take a slice out of the pie and see what MLB is doing, wrestling is doing? Although people can say that that's fake, but you still wrestling, you touching one another, and you can see what soccer is doing. What else out there? Basketball, they're in a bubble, for crying out loud. Some people have to leave the bubble and they got to get an excuse to get back into the bubble. There's so many things. And why this season have to be like that? When we can look at it and say to ourselves, man, we finally got rid of the coach, right? We finally brought in some good pieces as it relates to drafting. We did some great moves during this off season, acquisition, picking up some free agent guys. This will be the year that all of this stuff cave in. All I can say is that they are doing clinical trials in Houston, Texas right now. They're doing clinical trials for the vaccine. I'm not saying rush all of these players through that. No, the law is not saying that. All I'm saying is that hopefully, and I'm not saying vaccinations or vaccine will be the answer to it all, but hopefully we can quarantine some of this stuff and lock it down and get rid of it. I'm not finna go along the lines of talking about, man, y'all know what really is going on. I'm not finna give you guys that type of talk action. But I will say this. We have a chance and opportunity for this season to really, really pop some things off. But so far, one way or another, it just seems like another obstacle is coming. DeMarcus Lawrence said, hey, I got a newborn at the house, or my wife is pregnant. And I think Russell Wilson said, hey, my wife is pregnant. And I can't have that risk right now. I cannot go out there and be exposed to something and come back to something that I love and give it to them. Although I think that I can be almighty. Or, it just hit me. Should the NFL adapt that bubble theory? But it goes back to what I was saying earlier. The NFL is so huge. 55 people per roster, right? Or it could be more if you include the practice squad. It's over 65, because I think it's 10 of those guys, right? And this is not even including the coaching staff. That's a lot of folks. It's a lot of folks to really be watching them and saying, okay, did you wash your hands? Did you wash your feet, for crying out loud? They walk around barefooted in some of the lockers. Did you do this? Did you do that? Did you, make sure that you practiced in social distance? When the last time you got tested? All of these protocols. Man, and then it's a contact sport on top of that. The shield can cause all type of situations. I'm talking about the shield for the face mask. They said, okay, we got this unique shield. We already seen J.J. Watt come out and say, if I got to play with this shield, I'm not playing. I can restrict my breathing. I need fresh oxygen to play and things like that. So if he's one of the guys that's already putting that out there, I can only imagine the other guy that's trying to make the team and saying, hey, I would clearly make the team, but I'm restricted from breathing. That's a lot of stuff to put on the table. We need to figure this thing out. I'm optimistic that the season will happen. We see all of the highlight reels, the one-on-ones and things like that from these younger players. And trust me, some of the younger players are single. They don't have families to go home to. They can just sit back and say, you know what? This is my world. And we're going to see if we get into this season, especially if you're an undrafted rookie. You're like, give me those coins. This could change my life. 400,000 or 500,000, even $250,000. Any of those things could really change my life at one time. Give me this money. Or if somebody prominent steps away from the game or what have you to protect their family, to be with their family, to be with their loved ones, give me $1 million, give me 2, give me 3. And I'm talking about the players that have been only in the league for like 2 or 3 years. They'll be glad to scoop up some of this cash. And I tell you, we are so craved for this football action to go about that a third, I believe, that's watching this channel, or a third of the people in the United States, will still turn on their TV and watch some scrubs out there play, especially if they're putting on the silver and blue with the star on the side of their helmet. Let me know where I'm wrong at, Cowboy Nation. Let me know if you guys are following what I'm saying. Post me your thoughts. Give me some feedback down below about this virus, this pandemic that's going on, and all of this crazy stuff. And oh, if you got some conspiracy theory thoughts, man, put them down below as well. There's a like button. Why don't you smash that for me? Subscribe to this page. Share this content. That's the best thing you can do for the nation. My name is Law Nation, L-A-W Nation. Let's continue to grind and shine. That's been my time. I really thank you all for yours. And remember, you're listening to nothing but the best. Let's go. Let's go, baby. Let's go.